I was born with a conscience. And when I see things that are going wrong, I don't know why. I don't know what pulls at me the way it does, but I have to stand up. I have to speak out. Good morning. You could have somebody like Ralph watching you and telling you, oh, he's a descendant of Chataye. You have this man watching our indigenous people and talking about how Carib women. He read in a history book, a historian said some dotishness about how Carib women love plenty rum and they're always drunk. And I'm there like, but me do history right up to Form 5. Read history for CSEC. Well, CXC. I've never seen such a thing. Never. Now, the reason I'm on here this morning is because a number of things are just going around in my head, and I can't wait until Wednesday night to talk about these things. We could probably talk about them again on Wednesday night, but for this morning they're on my mind and I want to get them off so I can do what I want to do. Let me start off with something that was sent to me by a colleague, Aiden, this morning, and it came from Pastor Brent. I think his surname is Central. Anyways, Pastor Brent, everybody knows him as Pastor Brent. Now, Pastor Brent was the only person, the only one of my pastors that I felt was worthy enough. I don't know them all, so nobody should get offended by this. I'm talking about those who have come to know, to bless where I live. It was either going to be him or Pastor Steve Phillips, who I've known since I was a little child and always admired him. But Pastor Phillips is in Canada. We know that whole story. So it wasn't Pastor Phillips. So I chose Pastor Brent because I think he's a young man with a good gift of gab, and he speaks forthrightly. I love that about him. If you know, I love people like that, so I must love Pastor Brent. And he believes in his God, and he spreads his conviction, and he's very open and honest in the way he delivers. And I love that about Pastor Brent. So before I officially moved into my home and I needed it blessed, I called on Pastor Brent and he came. And I saw something circulating from him yesterday, in which he was basically saying that if you consider yourself to be a good person and you are enjoying the fact that so many people are now out of a job, then something is wrong with you. Yes, Tanya, he definitely tries not to be biased. Something has to be wrong with you if you are enjoying seeing your fellow men forced into themselves, into taking a vaccine. Then something has to be wrong with you. You have to check yourself. And this is why so many of our permanent secretaries, supervisors, principals, whomever would have to check themselves. They would have to check themselves and decide whether or not they really and truly stand, because many of them claim to be Christians. So they would need to evaluate their whole idea of Christianity. Now, you have a situation where some of these people themselves have not been vaccinated. because of their affiliations. But then they're forcing this thing on other people. I spoke to somebody yesterday who was talking about, principals feeling so overwhelmed, and, some of them having moved to tears. I heard about a principal in this countryside, a principal in town, who just, so stressed out about the fact that, hey, Anselm, they have to be forcing their staff members to do something that they don't want to do, and talking about, or they empathize with them, and they're going to be worried sick about them. And I said to the person plainly, me about that. That's the kind of people who would meet me and say, oh, Adrian, I'm standing with you, but I can't come out because I have my mortgage, and I have my children, and I have my bills. So what, me live on the cupboard? It gonna have to be that me live on the cupboard. Because if you go by NCB, you will see a mortgage with my name on it. And I have child to take care of too. And I have bills to pay too. But you see something else, I have a conscience. And me ain't gonna consider myself no Rosa Parks and no Martin Luther King, although we might be family, we might just be family from way back over in the African continent. We might just have some link up there. Who knows? Not the king part, but the roots part. We might just be related. And as a teacher, I've always found the strength and the wisdom to encourage my students to do the same thing. Always. Because at the end of the day, I believe that people have to learn to stand up for themselves. I don't understand. I seriously can't understand how y'all could say that you're good people, but you stand aside and watch evil happen. And some of you even consider yourselves to be righteous. Going back to the whole march the Christian community had a couple years ago against, I was wondering what was taking our pastors, what was keeping them with their mouth sealed? What is it? What was it? And I'm asking it again. How is it these pastors aren't on the streets with their congregation? The same members who have fed them for the past years. And, now the talk is this, that, the pastors are speaking out because they realize that many of their congregations will be out of work. And remember, there was a pastor, I think it was a priest actually, was this video going around on Facebook who was complaining about how much members were putting in the collection plate during, the whole pandemic. People have already been hit. People are going to get hit again. And people are suffering. So everybody's saying now, the pastors are speaking out because of the fact that their congregation, members of their congregations, won't have enough money to keep them and their families fed. Not them as in the congregations, as in the congregants, as in the pastors. Because if people don't have jobs, and if people are out here suffering, the collection plate money going down, and so that's less money for the church to pay the pastors, and they've already become used to a certain lifestyle. And I don't give them wrong. If that is what is driving them to speak out at this point, I'm glad. I don't give them wrong. I'm not holding it against them at all. When you take away a man's livelihood, thank you, Corinne, you have to stand up for yourself. When you take away a man's livelihood and you back him against a wall, you don't know what he's going to do. That man is desperate. He has his wife. He has his children. Or he might just have himself, his medical bills, his household bills, whatever it is. When you take away a man's ability, and man here meaning man and woman, when you take away their ability to provide for themselves, you're putting yourself in danger. You become a target. We in the society, we become targets too. Because now you're going to have an increase in robberies. And as much as y'all wanted to bash Kevin, Kevin wasn't wrong. And Kevin is you're going to understand how righter, yeah? You're going to understand how righter he is when things start unfolding. Because desperate people do desperate things.